Hi! Surprised? And welcome to Wrong Way. And today I wanted to talk about EUC riders' safety protective gear. So let me tell you more about it. This is not the first safety gear video that I'm doing, but things are evolving over time and I feel like my riding style adapts a little to the safety gear, or my safety gear adapts a little to the riding style, if that makes sense. So of course all the gear all the time is helpful and will mitigate you getting hurt during a crash, but if I go just casually to the store next door, I won't put on every single piece of gear that I own. So while safety gear is great, I feel like some riders get it twisted up and all jumbled up and they think that, oh, I have so much gear on now, I can just go 50, 70 kilometers an hour on the street and I'll be fine if I crash. But that is not the case. Now, if you crash in a good way, well, maybe you'll just come off with some scuffs, but maybe you'll hit a car and you might be very heavily injured and you might even die. So the thing is, if you'll be riding 60 kilometers an hour on a street with all safety gear on, you'll be still risking a lot more of your health than just riding 20 to 30 kilometers an hour on a bike path just with a helmet. And this brings me to today's video, because in today's video I wanted to sort of distinguish between three different riding styles or riding merits, riding purposes. I'll tell you about the perfect gear for a casual ride, for a performance-oriented ride, and then for the balls-to-the-walls insane extreme riding style. So with that said, let's get into it. And we'll go from top of the body to the bottom. And let's start with helmets. So for your casual ride, I feel like a half shell helmet is pretty good, but it doesn't protect your chin. It does look a lot more friendly, and if you're just riding slowly, you might risk damaging, this area of your face, but sometimes I just go to the store and I wear this and I feel like it's good enough. In the end, bicycle riders also wear this. However, you just have to be aware that this is not the highest level of protection that you can get. I also ride oftentimes just for close by errands and low speed rides with my full face helmet. But nevertheless, I use those a lot. These are Senna helmets with a intercom, so I can also sort of make calls in those. And occasionally I also use this Virgo helmet, but by the dust that is here, you can notice that it was quite a bit of a time ago. I need some accessories for it, but maybe I'll get back to it more once I get them. And the point of helmets is that I always wear one. Even if I'm on a group ride, just riding around, testing wheels, I'll put a helmet on. If I need to drink, I'll stop, get the helmet off, and then I'll drink. I see tons of riders, going to a meet in their full face helmet, but then they're like trying out wheels and they lean forward really hard and they put themselves into danger. So whenever I step on a wheel and I ride, even for the smallest amount of time, I put on the helmet. So always wear your helmet. This is the only non-negotiable I have in this safety gear list. Now for performance-oriented riding, I typically ride with this Bell Super DH. And even the biggest mountain bike stars ride in this helmet, like I believe David Gojek is riding. It has MIPS, it will protect your chin. I have the intercom mounted inside as well. And this is what you'll see me riding in like 90% of the time. It is good for, doing jumps, going off-road, but it's not the best for like super high-speed track riding, street riding. This is performance-oriented. If I do something extremely dangerous or I know I'll put my head at risk, I'll put on the helmets that I'll show you next. So for the biggest stunts, I'll have this Klim F3 carbon helmet. And this is a DOT ECE helmet. It's very safe. It's for, motocross bikes. And this is just the highest level of protection I can have for biggest jumps and biggest stunts. So if I will be doing some sort of big jump that I didn't do before, probably I'll be wearing this helmet or possibly the Bell. But this is a lot safer. Some other bonuses of this helmet is that it's a lot quieter. So sometimes if I don't want to hear so much road noise, I'll have this over the Bell. But it's also heavier at 1,100 grams, and the other one is, I believe, below a kilo, maybe 900, 800 grams, something like that. But yeah, this is for hardcore riding. But I do also have this Aero Commander Carbon, and this is sort of my all-weather, all-season riding helmet. Yeah, it's a lot of helmets. If you have to have one, just get I would say the bicycle downhill one. But this helmet is pretty cool because it's great for long cruises. You can just get the visor down. It also has a oh, what's it called? A sun visor? Is it a sun visor? Boom. Here. So yeah, it's a lot warmer. It's best for winter. It's great for rainy rides because you won't get any water on your face. So while it is also an extremely safe helmet, it's also ECE. It's not the newest 2206 standard for Europe, but still pretty safe. I do not often use it for speed riding because I just don't ride at speed anymore at all. So even though I put it in the extreme category because of its sort of safety aspects, usually I take it out for just longer rides, rides where I don't want to have bugs in my face, or I don't want to have rain in my face, I don't want to get cold, I want to have lots of ventilation options. My head will be a bit more tired because it's both heavier than the Klim and the bell, and it's a bit tighter around here in my ears, but nevertheless, if you want to go speedy, super speedy, or if you want to go on long rides and you also want to do some jumps in between, well, this is the helmet for you. I'll also make sure to review this pit zoom mirror pretty soon. But if you're doing some performance-oriented stuff on the Aero Commander helmet, then you will have to have this visor up because otherwise you just won't have enough air to breathe. So yeah, for off-roading, still better to use this and goggles or glasses. So if you have a full-face motocross helmet, then you can just wear some goggles. Those are great for the winter and they don't fog up as much as possibly a visor can, especially if you don't have a pin lock. But for summer rides, it's better to just have some glasses, like riding glasses, like for example those by Rudy Project. So yeah, helps you with branches, getting bugs into your eyes. So either have a visor, glasses, or goggles. And of course, those categories are not set in stone. So you can choose whatever sort of helmet you want or other accessory you want for your riding style. And you know, the higher you go with the safety level, the better it is. But sometimes it's just not necessary. Or sometimes you might just look very mean and angry, or like a motocross rider that suddenly appeared on the bike path. I really do care a lot more about that nowadays. Just to also like look more friendly, be a bit more maneuverable, be a bit lighter, have a bit more like breathability, a bit more sort of human scale, bicycle scale gear instead of this heavy motocross or motorcycle-like gear. And this sort of bicycle gear usually is also better for those lower speeds between like 20 to 35, 40 kilometers an hour. So now let's go into hand protection. And here I don't really have casual, performance, extreme. I just have gloves and wrist guards. And you know, at whatever time of ride, it's good to sort of have them. Let me explain. First of all, when it comes to gloves, they do prevent you from getting, you know, some road rash on your fingers. They're just good in terms, you know, of falling, because usually you just fall on your hands. But they do not protect your wrists so well. Even the most advanced sort of racing motorcycle gloves aren't as good as a pretty standard wrist guard. So if you want to have a bit more protection against sliding on the ground, especially at higher speeds, or if you're doing some jumps, some stunts, climbing up walls, doing some heavy off-roading, then you might want to wear both the gloves, and on top of that you will wear the wrist guard. Now, of course, if I sometimes go very close by at low speeds, I sometimes just don't wear anything at all, but I'm just very aware that when I fall, it will be very bad for my hands. So I'm extremely careful about, you know, everything that's happening around me. I don't do anything stupid, but even so, something bad might happen and then it's my fault. So usually I wear gloves most of the time, and if I go to a jump park and I do some very, you know, tricky maneuvers I didn't do before, I'll also wear the wrist guards. Sometimes when it's very warm, I might also just wear the wrist guards without the gloves, but then again, you might get some road rash on your fingers, you might hurt your fingers. So right, let's get on to your upper body. For casual rides, you might just wear nothing at all and then be aware that you might just break your elbows or you might have some road rash here. I had some low speed crashes on the 14D and nothing really happened. If you stay fit, if you stretch, if you do some exercises, then you might also mitigate the consequences of a fall, or if you just learn how to fall well. With that said, a good tip is to have those sort of Liat, those are pretty light, super light elbow protectors. And with those on, you still have plenty of, you know, air coming through the protector itself, so you won't get so sweaty. but you have some sort of protection when you crash. This is not, you know, a pad for sliding. This is not for heavy impact. This is just something more than wearing your hoodie or a long sleeve t-shirt. So for casual rides, as said, either nothing in my case or those protectors, or sometimes I'll just wear my performance-oriented stuff for a casual ride, like my lazy rolling hoodie. Let me tell you about that. So with my more performance-oriented rides, I can either go with those. Those are jackets that have protectors inside. This is a mesh jacket, which is very breathable, not as breathable as, you know, a jacket without protectors, or just you know, a very light hoodie or a jacket or a flannel shirt, but nevertheless pretty good. So for your summer rides, for just, you know, going to work and not needing to put on those tight elbow pads, you can just shove this thing onto you. It's very comfortable, and it will also help you with road rash if you crash, because this is just a very friction resistant material. However, when you crash, this fabric might go up and then you can still get some road rash, especially here in your hip area, yeah, somewhere here around your belly, maybe your back. So keep that in mind. The other sort of jacket I have is this lazy rolling jacket. It's more of a hoodie. It's very comfortable to ride, and it still has a Kevlar lining, which helps against those pesky road rashes. It is a bit warmer, so I typically ride in this below maybe like 15 degrees, 17 degrees Celsius. A lot less breathable than the mesh jacket, but very comfortable to wear, even if you're having a performance-oriented ride. Now I have level 1 protectors, so it's not the safest thing to wear. They also come with level 2 protectors, but this is just makes my movement a lot more comfortable. I crashed in that a couple times and it's still all right. Now, the other option, which I prefer especially for summer riding, is wearing this POC or POC chest protector slash back protector. Now those jackets didn't have a chest protector, and very few have. And usually if you do have a chest protector, you get really sweaty, and it also limits your movement quite a bit. So this is a great solution for me because this is very breathable. You know, I do get sweaty here on the front a little bit, but it's not too bad. And the back protector is also super, super breathable. Now again, this is not the highest level of protection you can get. I believe it's just level 1, but it's very light and it's very good for my movement. It keeps me cool, and I found that, you know, just having this added mobility, having something lighter on you, having something that is not as difficult to put on really helps me, because this is just, you know, sort of like a jacket. I put it on and it's already there. So yeah, this has been my find. And then I couple it with some elbow protectors like those Liads or something more heavy duty. And this is sort of the gear I can wear to some jumps that I already did before. So the usual kind of, you know, wrong way riding that you also see on my Instagram account. Also, it's really easy to clean and it doesn't get that smelly. With that said, for my extreme riding, I have this Liat AirFit Hybrid armor. A lot of people in the EUC world use this as their main protector: chest protector, back protector, shoulder protector, and elbow protector, some protectors in between. This is sort of the most amount of protection I have when doing jumps. So if I do a very big jump, if I do something really scary, really dangerous, I'll be wearing this. But it comes with its downside. I don't ride it every day because, frankly speaking, I get really sweaty in it, and then it gets really smelly, and then you have to wash it, hand wash it, dry it, and you have to leave it sort of drying sort of like this, because you can't hang it on a coat hanger because it might just, like, the fabric might stretch out. So it is just not the easiest thing to take care of. Now the protection is great, it's all level 2, it has sliding pads, but keep in mind that this won't save you from, you know, breaking your shoulder, for example, because if you have a really strong crash, you know, the shoulder might still get broken. So although this is the best level of protection you can get, this is not your ticket to doing stupid shit, all right? Extreme level of protection. This is my favorite one, the Liat AirFit Hybrid. Now going lower onto your body, we have hip and tailbone protection. And for my casual rides, and most of the time I don't really wear it, but it's really helpful to do so. And let me tell you why. Usually when you crash, you get hurt with your hip bones. And you know, people don't think about it. We get our knee protectors, our elbow protectors, but then, you know, the hips get really hurt, or your butt. So even though I know about it, I ride in those motorcycle jeans not that often, especially if it's very warm outside. But those jeans, Broger jeans, I think they're Broger, California, Ohio, I don't know which state, they have a butt protector, tailbone protector, and some level 1 or 2 protection for your hips too. So this is a really simple, easy way to wear hip protection for your casual or performance or extreme oriented rides. If I do a really big jump or something really stupid, I will most likely wear this. This is a fuse protector. Oh my God, how many times will I say protector in this video? Protective underwear, protective pants, and they protect your tailbone and also your hips. And if I do some massive jumps, I'll be wearing this. I don't really like it because you know, you feel it, it's tight, it's not as breathable as obviously not having them on, but for your more extreme oriented stunt riding, I'd recommend you to wear this. Now let's get down on our knees and talk about knee protectors. So sometimes I do ride without any knee protectors. It's not a good idea because knees can get hurt a lot during a fall, and it's a pain in the ass knee to get them back up and running. So for most of the time I try to put them on. Sometimes I don't, but then I'm like super careful, but still it's not really responsible. So when you're riding whatever kind of casual performance, whatever oriented ride, I would suggest you to have at least something on your knees. So lately I found those trail skins by Dainese, and I really love them because they're super light, they're very breathable, like all of this thing. Air just gets through here very easily. It's not a pad that is oriented for like a high impact crash or high speed crash, but it's sort of better than nothing, I guess. Especially on trails, this will help you a lot. On tarmac, on asphalt, probably they will move upon your impact, and then you might still get hurt. So this is the sort of smallest level of protection I have when riding on a electric unicycle when it comes to the knee pads. Or you can have some, you know, skateboarding knee pads from Decathlon. This is the TSG Nosedive, presumably made for one-wheel users. So this is the lightest setup. And if you want to do some more performance-oriented riding, I would suggest you getting those Fuse knee protectors. They're so awesome. For most of the time, I was riding in those Liats. I'll tell you why I don't use them so much anymore in a second. So when it comes to this Fuse protective gear, it's so awesome. You wear it underneath your pants or shorts, which makes you look a lot more under the radar, which I like lately. And they also wrap around your leg. So here you have the EUC, and it gives you some more cushioning on your leg, which is great, and also some additional protection, I guess. You also have ankle protectors, but they come in different models. You can have that or you can leave that out. And then it's a very long shin protector, which is awesome because so many times you get hit like right below where the protector ends. So this one is really awesome. Cheers to actually Philipp Schuster, BMX, because he showed me that he's wearing it and I fell in love with, of course, his riding and also this protective pad. So if you want to get something for performance-oriented riding that also gives you plenty of mobility, it's really comfortable, not too warm, not too heavy, and also doesn't move down at all, I freaking love those things. Now, as it comes to this Liat knee pad, I still have it and I sometimes wear it. I just don't like how it always sort of goes down by itself, even with, you know, some silicone here. I try to tighten it with using different holes, tightening the strap. It always moves a bit. And the thing is, when you have the EUC here, it sort of shifts to the side, which isn't optimal. It doesn't happen with those Fuse protectors. So sometimes if I just want to put something on top of my pants, I wear it, but not that often at all. You'll have sweaty pants underneath that, which isn't that tasty, I would say. And they do protect you very well from like high speed crashes when you slide, but sometimes they can just like also move around. I do not like it so much anymore. I typically ride in those. Those are I think, worse for high-speed crashes because you don't have a crash pad where you can slide on. But for most of the stuff I do, those fuses are better. So yeah, I still have them. I still use them every once in a while, but yeah, not that often. Also, kind of looks a little bit dorky if you have really wide pants and then such a tight protector on top of them. Now, if you want to jump a mega ramp, then this is it. This is the most amount of protection for my knee and leg that I can have. This is a knee brace by Liat. So this doesn't have elastic bands, those are tight. This helps you to keep your leg straight. It won't allow the knee to go in the opposite direction. This is just protection, a lot of it. And it's also the most expensive of all the ones that I've mentioned. Now, I don't ride with this so often because it limits my movement a lot. They're really heavy. It's kind of hard to keep your blood circulation going when they're so tight against your legs. They stay in place, they're comfortable, and I think they stay in place also better than the Liat dual axes. But I just don't have much of a use for them now if I don't do something really out of the ordinary. I have a lot less control because this plastic just moves around the side of the wheel, and yeah, I just can't move as well as I can with those fuse knee protectors. So if you're in for heavy off-roading, you might fall often, you might get hurt on stones, I know you can just twist your leg in a weird way. This is your pick, or if you have just weak legs, but for most of the time I'll just wear those fuse protectors. But yeah, this is heavy duty. Now you can also have knee protectors in your pants. Those really vary a lot. There can be shorter ones, longer ones. I just stopped using them because they never really stay in place all that much. Depending on the pants, you can also get them out easily or not. I just prefer to use those Dainese ones all the time now. I can just leave them on and they're pretty comfortable, and I'm sure that they wrap around my leg. That's why I don't use protectors in the pants themselves all that much anymore. Now finally, let's get on to how to protect your feet. And for my casual rides, and also sometimes performance rides, I get those Ride Concepts MTB shoes. Now they are already breaking here on the top. Shoes get really stressed and really quickly worn out on UCs, but that's sadly how it is. I really love the sole because it has all of those holes that go well into the pins of the EUC, and they're just very casual, easy to put on, easy to put off. They don't provide you the most amount of protection. For my usual rides, this is what I wear. And what you want to have in your shoe, especially if you're starting out, is some sort of rubber or other protective material on top here, because you might hurt your toes if you don't have that. So especially if you're starting out, you might want to just get some motorcycle boots or some sort of boots that are stiff here on the top in order to prevent any damage to your foot from the top. Don't wear running shoes when you learn how to ride on your wheel. But yeah, those are really simple, and this is the casual option. Sadly, I don't currently have my Broguer shoes that I usually wear for my performance-oriented riding, but here's a picture of them. I really love them. They have reinforced areas for your toes, for your heel, for your ankles too, and this is sort of what I go for when I do jumps, if I do some longer rides. They have a flat sole and they're really comfortable. However, they tend to break on this zipper, so that's what I don't like so much about it. But in general, if you want to have a shoe that is performance oriented, that just have a flat sole and some sort of reinforcements for your toes, ankles, and the heel. Now for extreme riding, this is the shoe. This is a TCX sort of motorcycle boot. It has plenty of protection. It's so strong here, and also for your ankle, for your heel here. Yeah, just plenty of protection here. It's very tough to find such a style of motorcycle boot for your EUC, because usually they have a thin sole, not that wide, and they're usually also contoured a bit around for, which is optimized for motorcycle riding, not so much for EUC riding. So if this one, I'm still very comfortable. It's not the heaviest one, but you can also get some motocross boots if you find riding on them comfortable. I didn't, and this is sort of the heaviest boot I can wear for riding an EUC. Now in the future, I might also want to try out an ankle brace, which helps you with, keeping your ankle safe. I didn't try it yet, but if you did, then let me know in the comments. As a bonus, those are the backpacks I'm wearing. I have this Etnies backpack just purely because it looks cool and it has room for my footboard. And I have this Richa backpack, which is bigger, and it can also fit a back protector and has a great strap around your waist. So having a waist strap is awesome for jumps, for doing some more performance-oriented maneuvers. Really love this one, but most of the time I ride with this one because it's just smaller and lighter. That looks cool. And this is it for the updated sort of list of safety gear, protective gear that I wear for, riding in EUC. What it really boils down to is that I select the gear adequately to where I'll be riding, and this is sort of the biggest thing that changed recently. So if I just go for a casual stroll, I really prioritize avoiding to crash, like checking always if there's a cyclist coming, if there's a car coming, especially car, that's the most dangerous thing. Looking at lights, trying to be concentrated, and just being very aware in the situation. This might help you a lot more than having more gear on and crashing. For most of the sort of fun-oriented rides, I do tend to ride with a bit more gear, especially with the Bell Super DH helmet and with my knee pads, with my upper body protector, especially on pump tracks, on bike parks. That's where I have most of my sort of medium gear on. And if I do some stuff that I'm really not comfortable with, then I'll have the heavy duty stuff on. But that doesn't happen all that often. Now, the important takeaway is also that speed is very dangerous, and especially going fast on tarmac, on the road, might leave you with road rash, broken bones, crashing into a car, crashing into a curb, sidewalk. There's just so much stuff that can happen if you're riding fast. So while gear might help you, usually it's just best to slow down and be more aware, be a bit more mindful, be demure. Okay, I had to shove that in here. But with that said, no more preachiness. If you're still here, leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon. Yep, that's the Blitz.